Thanks for joining us today. Welcome to the video series on the 6 functions of problem exploration for the change and implementation process. This series is produced by the Capacity Building Center for States and funded by the Children's Bureau. In this module, we're going to break down the 4th step in problem exploration. Identify possible contributing factors and possible root causes. Remember, at this point, a team has already identified the problem, created a data plan, and taken time to collect and analyze the data to better understand the problem, before moving on to exploring and validating the possible root cause or causes, and then isolating the root cause or causes to address. In this video, we will talk about using findings to identify possible contributing factors, the things that affect the outcome, and possible root causes, the true causes of the problem. Distinguishing these from one another is an important part of the change management process and helps teams pinpoint where to focus for better outcomes. Let's get started. A root cause analysis is a structured approach to understand why a problem occurs using data. Understanding why a problem or unmet need exists helps teams better identify the potential solutions to it. Teams should strive to understand both the contributing factors and the underlying root cause or causes. Contributing factors affect the problem, but solutions that target them may reduce the problem without actually preventing it. The root cause or causes are the underlying source of the problem, and when teams are able to identify and address them, then the problem will be prevented. Teams can use several methods to explore and consider contributing factors and root causes. We will walk through 3 methods that, when used together, can help identify contributing factors and narrow in on root causes. The first method is a fishbone or Ishikawa diagram. The identified problem is written into the circle or head of the fish, and teams map out possible contributing factors along the bones. This helps teams consider many possible causes and the factors influencing the problem. As a first step to creating a fishbone diagram, teams may try brainstorming and listing out the possible factors and causes that come to mind. What is the team learning through data analysis? In the brief, the team thinks about many contributing factors for their identified problem, including no caseworker training related to engagement and meeting father's needs, father engagement in case planning and assessment is not occurring, insufficient staff and staff time to locate and engage non-custodial fathers and assess their needs, caseworkers lack skills in assessing non-custodial fathers' needs, and agency culture is mother-centric and lacks focus on fathers. After the initial brainstorming, the team begins to build the fishbone. The problem is written into the circle or head of the fish, and the team writes the possible contributing factors or root causes along the bones. In this example, the team maps contributing factors to 5 dimensions of capacity, including infrastructure, knowledge and skills, resources, engagement and partnerships, and culture and climate. The fishbone diagram can serve as a jumping-off point for identifying possible root causes based on the factors identified. Another popular and simple technique is the 5 whys method. This method has teams repeatedly asking why to drill down into a problem and the contributing factors. With each response, the team again asks why. Typically, teams will repeat the why question 5 times, but that number is only a guideline. With complex problems, it may take more than 5 questions to get at root causes, and at some point, there may be more than one why reason. Teams should keep asking why until there seems to be no new information or areas that the agency can address through policy, program, or practice changes. After completing the 5 whys, a why tree can help teams illustrate the connections between multiple factors and possible root causes, or even identify other ones that could impact the problem. Teams put the problem at the top of the why tree and enter each of the first level of contributing factors from the 5 whys in the first level of the tree. At each level of the tree, teams should identify the data or evidence that supports the response, and as they get to the bottom of the tree, the root causes should emerge. There is an example of a completed why tree on page 23 under Appendix D in the problem exploration brief. If you would like to, please take time to pause this video and review the completed example in the brief. Regardless of the method that teams choose, they should make every effort to confirm their ideas with data instead of relying on opinion. As teams work through the process of identifying contributing factors and root cause or causes, use data sources to consider these questions. What events or factors lead to the problem? What conditions allow the problem to occur? What other problems occur at the same time as the central problem? Will the problem still exist if the agency corrects or eliminates the contributing factor? Answering these questions as a team can help to understand how to address the factors and root causes of the problem. It's time to check in with our example. Using a method like a fishbone diagram, the state identified possible contributing factors and then worked through the 5 whys method to identify 2 root causes. Their assessment suggested that agency culture focused more on mothers and did not equally value the potential role of fathers, and a lack of knowledge and skills related to engagement of non-custodial fathers. The culture and infrastructure gaps influenced agency policies, caseworker trainings, supervision procedures, and performance measures in addressing fathers' needs. The why tree exercise reviewed data to support each level of contributing factors and confirmed the 2 root causes. It sounds like our team is getting close to understanding the problem more fully. What do you think might be their next step? The next step in problem exploration is exploring and validating possible root cause or causes. Let's take a moment to check in on what we've learned about identifying contributing factors and root causes. Why do teams identify contributing factors and root causes? To understand the factors that impact a problem and the underlying cause of the problem. How do teams identify contributing factors and root causes? By using a structured method to drill down to why the problem exists, such as a fishbone diagram, 5 whys, and a why tree. What can help teams to identify contributing factors and root causes? By answering key questions about the factors and possible root causes through data to understand why the problem exists. Now, take this a step further by reviewing the reflection questions for identify contributing factors and root causes in your problem exploration workbook. Up next is explore and validate root causes, the 5th function in problem exploration.